20 years of disappointment sounds like fun. Well, we're already at 7 years of disappointment, so why not add a few more for the brainless Sims 4 fans who think the developers are somehow going to turn this sinking ship around? It seems so long ago, over 7 years since Sims 4 launched. We learned a lot. We doubled down since then, and the team has done an amazing job of adding to the depth and the breadth of the game. Folks in the industry used to talk about having successful games that could last for 5 years. Now we talk about them lasting 10 years, 15 years, or more. There's been a shift across the entire games industry to support and nurture our communities long term, and we're committed to doing just that with The Sims 4. In fact, we also do more than ever to partner closely with our community. We often speak directly with them, seeking their guidance and input. I really only have one thing to say about this paragraph. What? This snippet is from a much larger article about the new general manager of Maxis. I'm sure a few lines have you scratching your head just like me and wondering what rock this person has crawled out from. It has been a hot minute since we looked at what people in the community are saying about a particular topic. Last time we did this, we were blessed with absolutely hilarious and brutal thoughts about Journey to Batuu. The community has a lot to say about this new manager, so let's dive right in. I've seen quite a few people talking about the fact that she is from mobile Facebook gaming, and that probably doesn't bode well for the game's future. We have already seen that EA is pushing the majority of games towards online, multiplayer, mobile, loot boxes, and microtransactions. This is pretty much the only way EA makes their money. I would bet my last 2 pennies that The Sims Mobile and The Sims Free Play make way more money than The Sims 4 does, because mobile is much less complex and easier to create for. The hiring of someone from mobile type gaming is not surprising. This is where EA wants to go in the future. I also love the lines about depth and supporting the community. The team couldn't even add depth to the snow. So what depth are you talking about? If you actually listened to your community, really supported their honest feedback, and nurtured open conversations, you'd know that most people have been asking for deeper gameplay since forever, but it seems like budget and time constraints get in the way of that. Come on now, don't lie. You don't know or care about the community beyond them continuing to buy packs and fill your pockets. This whole article reeks like another PR or shareholder bolstering puff piece. Our developers are so great, blah blah blah. We work so hard, blah blah blah. We're going to support games forever, blah blah blah. Please give us your money. And the funniest thing of all is that they say they speak to the community and get their guidance. Really now? I've seen multiple people on Twitter talking about how gurus are blocking people who've never interacted with them and hiding comments on their post. That doesn't sound like seeking guidance and input to me. That sounds a lot like we only want to see people who agree with us. I've already covered gurus behaving badly, so this is no surprise to me. So much for we will continue to listen and engage with you. I just want to ask one thing. You are aware of the Streisand effect, right? I mentioned this in my video about the gurus, that it is only going to get worse if they didn't change their ways, and well, this looks like it's going swimmingly. Blocking people isn't going to fix the problem, it is only going to exasperate it. Players are already so angry, and it is just a matter of time until they explode. You know what else is only a matter of time? The Sims 4 code collapsing in on itself. I've talked about EA's patented spaghetti code in another video, but you want to put another 3 to 8 years into this game? This game that the developers can't figure out how to fix the unbearable simulation lag? This game where the technical directors are terrified to add more content to the game? They typically put out between 5 and 8 pieces of DLC every year, so we're looking at 15 to 64 pieces of DLC in the future, any one of which could be the next eco lifestyle that causes the game to come crumbling down. This tells me that they know about the game's problems and literally don't care. This is The Sims 3 all over again. Slap the game together any way you can. Doesn't matter if it works or not after we get your money. Can anyone tell me how we get such dunderheads working at EA? Sims gurus have no idea what their players want, and executives want to push the game well beyond its limits. The ineptitude is astounding. I really wish these comments were an anomaly, but many people have the same thoughts. I put way too much money into this game for it to end. Whether or not you like it, the game is going to end. Doesn't matter if you spent $1,000 on the game, you ultimately have zero control on when the game ends. That being said, I want to talk about sunk cost fallacy. How much do you have to spend to get your money's worth? You can continue to play the game, not spend another dime, and get your money's worth after development ends. The game doesn't just evaporate when the developers move on to a new game. Well, unless you're playing it just because it's the newest iteration and trendy. Yeah, I don't foresee a bunch of people ever going back to The Sims 4 after it ends and a new game comes out. Also, you do know that other games exist, right? Other better games with smaller price tags? I am frankly astonished that people are still forking out money thinking the next pack will be better. I don't have to tell you that sounds like an addiction, right? It is people like this and the collectors who admit to buying packs without the intention of ever playing them that baffle me. I guess because I never had any money, I'm not in such a hurry to flush what I do have down the drain. The old adage of a fool and their money are soon parted is particularly topical to this situation. In a similar vein are the people who want to prolong the death of The Sims 4 to make the game perfect or complete. Can anyone point me in the direction of where it says that the gurus have to and make the game perfect to your specifications. There are millions of players in the community, and most will be disappointed in The Sims 4. And bug fixes? Really? You believe that The Sims gurus, infamous for their terrible coding and dumping games buggy and broken, are going to somehow become excellent coders and fix The Sims 4? You have a better chance of being hit by a flying pig than that happening. Some of us have been around a really long time and have seen how the gurus in EA treat games. Sims 2 was dumped buggy and broken. Sims 3, same story, but a lot more buggy. Sims 4 has been buggy since launch and has steadily gotten worse. There are still bugs that exist from launch, and none of that history matters because of blind toxic positivity. They'll fix it, give them 5 more years and they'll make it work. You want to shell out $200 every year for the next 5 years in the hopes that the game will eventually get better? Do you know how absolutely crazy that sounds? I've also seen a lot of people saying things like, just stop making content and focus on bugs. That's literally impossible, and here's why. EA gave the team the original investment to make the game. The game then is required to pay that investment back and turn a huge profit, or EA cancels the game to stop the hemorrhaging of money. EA isn't going to tolerate a game not making a stupid amount of money for months or years so the team can focus on bug fixes. The packs pay for those fixes, and EA expects the money to keep rolling in. That's a definite catch-22. EA isn't going to magically stop wanting money, and the gurus can't make bug fixes without money. Once they stop developing the game, even for a few months, interest and sales dwindle, so that's definitely not something they can do. Bug fixes have always taken a backseat to content creation, and unfortunately, that is how it's going to stay. And don't get me started on the technology advancements will fix this game. Didn't we hear that a lot with The Sims 3? When computers get more powerful, this game will run better. I feel like a broken record at this point, but technology has nothing to do with how poorly The Sims 3 or The Sims 4 runs. It is the poor coding in those games that causes the problems, and no amount of hardware is going to fix that. We are nearly 12 years on from The Sims 3, and the modded game runs no better than it did 10 years ago. Sure, there are more mods to fix some of the problems, but the game didn't magically become playable with the invention of an RTX 3080. The Sims 4 already takes 12 minutes to load for a lot of people on console, and that's apparently acceptable to the team. I've heard from others that it really isn't that much better on PC, with several minute loading times being common occurrences. The cracks have been showing for a very long time, and they just keep getting worse. I'm not sure they have the skills or the ability to fix some of the widespread bugs. Simulation lag started in City Living, and it has been many years and many packs that have built on that framework. They've been looking into simulation lag for over a year now, and yet they still are looking into it. That definitely sounds like a placating statement to me, just like "we hear you" was. I am extremely glad that they worked on the time it takes to do certain tasks like eating and showering, but that seems like they are addressing the symptom and not the cause of the problem. My pet theory is simulation lag is caused by asking the game engine to do too many things at once. City Living asked the engine to keep track of many more things like the trains and traffic, the detailed buildings in the background, and multiple families living technically on the same lot. It was ambitious but problematic for the game as a whole, and those kind of mistakes can never be fixed. The game engine is the problem, and you can't fix that no matter how well you code. It's time for the lightning opinions round. Unfortunately, I already own The Sims 4, so I can't help you there. Honestly, I believe The Sims 4 will be my last Sims game and will be the only one that I probably never play again. I've watched years of packs come out with very little interest, so I highly doubt that I'll care about The Sims 5, especially considering by the time it comes out, the stripped down base game will probably cost $70, and I'm not comfortable paying that much for so little. To be honest, I feel the same. I feel the same so much that I made an entire video about game developers who could do a better job with the Sims license. Unless EA goes bankrupt and they have to sell off their games as part of the bankruptcy, I highly doubt they will ever part with the Sims cash cow. Their MO is to buy up game studios, shut them down, and then sit on a pile of unused game franchises until they can shoehorn them into horrible mobile games and squeeze a few pennies from nostalgic players. We already have no real function or gameplay, don't we? I mean, we don't have 1,000 kits yet, but EA will keep making them ad nauseum if they make them money. And if all of the gameplay kits come out as broken as Bust the Dust, we're in for a real treat. The gurus admit to looking at player-created CCN mods and seeing if they can implement them into the game for people to pay for, so anything is possible. If they take ideas from CCN mod creators, you can bet they are taking ideas from other games. I don't think EA or the gurus are nervous about Paralives. They weren't nervous about City Skylines until it came out, took over their market, and made them look like fools. I'm not saying that Paralives will end the Sims franchise, but I will say that if you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. And then we hold it under the water until it stops struggling, right? Yeah, I've given up on getting any meaningful updates to babies, toddlers, children, and teens in The Sims 4, especially when management believes that no one plays with those life states and thus they shouldn't invest money into that type of content. That's why we get recycled art tables 6 times. Just give them the bare minimum and keep making the game into a young adult simulator. Or they could split it into 5 separate packs. We already have kids stuff, toddler stuff, and parenthood, so also make a teen stuff pack and an elder pack, and voila, you've got a Generations pack in 5 pieces at double the price and with half as much content. Why aren't you happy? They made exactly what you wanted. Be grateful!